U.S. President Donald Trump on April 5 issued a stark warning, declaring that American forces could strike Iran's power plants and bridges as early as April 7 if Tehran doesn't reopen the partially blocked Strait of Hormuz. In a fiery social media post, Trump wrote, quote, "Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the f***ing strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah." The post by Trump came a day after he issued a stern warning, giving Iran just 48 hours to open the Strait of Hormuz, a vital global oil artery, or face what he called hell raining down. These ultimatums came as his earlier 10-day deadline was set to expire on April 6th. Soon after his post on Truth Social, Trump told Fox News that there's a good chance for agreement with Iran on April 6th. The strategic waterway, a lifeline for global oil supplies, remains effectively closed to the U.S., Israel, and their allies, sending shockwaves through energy markets worldwide. Iran, however, has refused to back down. In a direct response, Iranian military officials issued a chilling counter-warning, saying the, quote, "gates of hell," unquote, would open for the United States and Israel if attacks continue. Senior Iranian commander Ali Abdullahi Ali-Abadi slammed Trump's remarks, calling them, quote, "reckless," unquote, and a sign of desperation. Additionally, a billboard showing Iranian troops catching warships, fighter jets in a fishing net, with a sentence reading, "The Strait of Hormuz remains closed," popped up at the Enqilab Square in Tehran on April 5. Tehran has also rejected proposals for a temporary ceasefire, demanding a permanent end to the war instead.
Our conditions for ending this war are absolutely clear. We do not accept a ceasefire. Instead, we are seeking a complete end to the conflict. Not only in Iran, but throughout the entire region. And providing firm guarantees that these aggressions will not occur again. And furthermore, the payment of damages and reparations that must be made to the Iranian people due to the sheer scale of the losses and harm they have in any event inflicted upon us.
Earlier, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth claimed that talks with Iran are, quote, "very real," unquote, and gaining strength, while stressing that the U.S. will continue to negotiate with bombs.
The U.S. and Iran appear right now publicly to disagree about whether there are these negotiations ongoing. What impact does that have on military strategy? Does it have any bearing at all?
So on the talks, I can tell you, having been with Steve and Jared and the Vice President and Marco and many others yesterday, they are very real. They are ongoing. They're active and I think gaining strength. And we appreciate that. As I said in my remarks, we would much prefer to get a deal. If Iran was willing to relinquish material they have and ambitions they have, open this, great. That's the goal. We don't want to have to do more militarily than we have to. But I didn't mean it flippantly when I said, in the meantime, we'll negotiate with bombs. Our job is to ensure that we compel Iran to realize that this new regime, this regime in charge, is in a better place if they make that deal. And so we'll continue. We're working hand in hand, but the primary effort is a deal. We want that deal to be accomplished if at all possible. If not, then we're
another global choke point with the help of its allies in the Middle East. The Speaker of Iran's parliament, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, has issued a veiled threat. In a post on X, Ghalibaf questioned the vulnerability of the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. He asked, "What share of global oil, LNG, wheat, rice, and fertilizer shipments passes through this route? And which countries and companies depend on it the most?" A statement widely seen as a strategic warning to global shipping and trade networks. While the Strait of Hormuz remains the world's most critical energy corridor, the Bab el-Mandeb Strait is also vital. The narrow waterway, bordered by Yemen, handles nearly 14% of global trade shipments. That includes around 5% of the world's oil supply. Analysts say the remarks suggest Tehran may be looking beyond Hormuz and considering other strategic pressure points in the global commerce network. Galibaf questioned the volume of crude oil, LNG, grains, and fertilizers that pass through the narrow waterway, a statement quickly picked up by policymakers and global markets as a calculated strategic signal. Around 6.2 million barrels of crude oil pass through this route every day, and nearly 12% of global trade moves across the Red Sea corridor, making it a critical artery for Europe-Asia trade and global supply chains. Its vulnerability has been a growing concern, especially since the Houthi movement entered the conflict in support of Iran. With tensions already high in the Gulf, this latest signal suggests the conflict could expand to yet another critical maritime lifeline.
A war of narratives is now intensifying alongside the battlefield, as both Iran and the United States project sharply contrasting claims about the ongoing conflict. In a post on X, Ebrahim Rizai, spokesman for Iran's Parliament National Security Bloc, drew a direct comparison between Iranian actions and what he described as failed U.S.-Israeli objectives. Rizai claimed that Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy has taken control of the Strait of Hormuz, while accusing the United States and Israel of failing to occupy even a single meter of Iranian territory. He concluded with a warning, saying that it is ultimately the battlefield that will determine the outcome of the war. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has signaled a more aggressive U.S. posture on the Strait of Hormuz. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said, "With a little more time, we can easily open the Hormuz Strait, take the oil, and make a fortune. It would be a gusher for the world." However, the statement did not clarify how the United States would break Iran's hold over the waterway, or what specific oil resources were being referenced. The Strait of Hormuz remains a critical global energy choke point, handling a significant share of the world's oil shipments. Since the start of the conflict on February 28th, the route has been largely shut down, disrupting shipping flows from countries including Greece, the UAE, and China. While Trump has claimed the United States is less affected due to limited dependence on the route, fuel prices have surged sharply. In the U.S., average gas prices have risen by more than 30% in a month, crossing the $4 per gallon mark. Beyond Hormuz, experts are now warning of the long-term financial strain of the war on the United States, with concerns growing over unmet strategic objectives. According to a Reuters report citing 5 sources familiar with U.S. intelligence, only about 1/3 of Iran's missile and drone arsenal has been destroyed so far. Another third is believed to be damaged or hidden in underground tunnels and bunkers, leaving Iran with a significant remaining stockpile. This assessment contradicts earlier claims by Trump, who said Iran had very few rockets left, and other U.S. statements suggesting its missile capabilities had been largely eliminated. Iran considers its ballistic missile program a key deterrent, given the military superiority of the United States and Israel. Over the past month, Iranian missiles and drones have continued to strike Israel and key infrastructure in the Gulf, causing significant economic disruption. Trump himself acknowledged the risks, saying, "Even if 99% of missiles are neutralized, 1% is unacceptable, because that one missile could hit a billion-dollar ship." Israel says it has targeted Iran's missile launchers extensively, claiming to have neutralized around 335 launchers, or roughly 70% of its total. However, Iran has dispersed its launch systems across the country, making detection and destruction more difficult. While the number of launches has decreased, missiles continue to penetrate defenses, as interceptor stockpiles are increasingly stretched. A U.S. official, speaking anonymously to Reuters news agency, admitted, "I don't know if we'll ever have an accurate number of Iran's missile stockpile." At the same time, the financial cost of the war is mounting rapidly. According to a Wall Street Journal report, U.S. military equipment losses in the first 3 weeks alone are estimated between $1.4 and $2.9 billion. The report, citing former Pentagon official Elaine McCusker, details multiple incidents. 3 F-15E fighter jets were mistakenly shot down by a Kuwaiti aircraft. An F-35 made an emergency landing after reportedly coming under fire, and a mid-air collision between 2 KC-135 refueling planes killed 6 crew members. 5 additional KC-135 aircraft were damaged in an Iranian missile strike in Saudi Arabia, while more than a dozen MQ-9 Reaper drones have been lost during the conflict.